at 189.5. Gift, tempo, fever. What's up, Gabe?
Unbelievable that it went down as low as it did. I can understand, all right, the market doesn't agree. It moves a point, moves a half point. We originally nailed this number. Kevin and I have been excited for this game because we're WNBA bettors and we're over bettors, and Kevin was super curious about the total of this game. I nailed the number at 193.5 last week, and it just kept dropping. And it went all the way down to 189.5, pop back up to 190.5 here, Kevin. I don't know. Akonde is out. Sabally is out for the Toronto Tempo, but Brittany Sykes is back as well. And, I think that's all we need to know, Kevin, about how they feel about this game tonight. She hasn't played in like 6 weeks. And suddenly, tonight she's back, right? 21,000 people. They usually don't have a 30-minute pregame show before every Tempo game, Kevin. They did tonight. They're showing the lineup outside, 21,000 people or 20,000, whatever. It's capacity. It's sold out, whatever their capacity is for the WNBA. It's sold out. It's in where the Leafs and Raptors play. It's a lot of Fever jerseys. I'm seeing it right now. A lot of Fever jerseys in the stands. But I tell you, the Tempo players are excited for this basketball game. So I'm not getting in front of this either, Kevin. I'm taking the over. We're betting the over this game. And
good pick.
She hasn't been as consistent with the threes. She's not hitting as many, and she's not shooting as many recently. And Kelsey Mitchell. I'm going to go back to one last time here, Kevin. It was like 14-1, and I've lost 2 of the last 3 or 3 in a row now with this. And the game went to overtime the other day, and it still didn't get there. I'm going back to it. The Tempo are a terrible defensive team. If Kelsey Mitchell, this is the night where she gets back on track with her 3-point shooting tonight. So, and I don't know how you feel about the side, but give me the Tempo, Kevin. Give me the Tempo. Fired up crowd, although the thing is, the crowd is so fired up and the atmosphere is so electric. I don't know if we catch the Fever in a letdown spot, right? But the Fever coming off a lot of big games, the Aces, Angel Reese, the Dream, blah, blah, these big games and stuff, they got no beef with the Tempo, right? We're getting ready for tip-off. They're getting ready to tip off here, guys. So I also played Aaliyah Boston, Kevin, over 9.5 rebounds. I don't see anyone on that's the Tempo's problem. They're not very good on the glass. So I think Boston has a big game on the glass tonight.
Yeah, I think that is all in play. I kind of said to Gabe the other day, not that I'm not a big game bettor, but I know when we have a game that we've been this excited for, Gabe is going to step up and have a real card to it. And he should. I know you put all the work into these picks. I'm not, you know what I mean? But I don't care about anything.
I left some on the table too, bro.
Right, yeah. Gabe, I don't care if the Fever win by 100. I I don't care if they get upset.
Yeah.
I don't care.
You just want points.
That's all I care about. That's all I care about. Guys, I just want to, I'm not just betting this over he's excited. The Fever played the Liberty, and the total was the same. Now, that game had 198 points in it. Guys, the Liberty give up 7 fewer points per game than the Tempo. Yes, they score more than Toronto, but that's what I'm saying, Gabe. People, when it was 193.5, right, the number that you had said, I thought to myself, look, I'm going to bet the over, but let's not go crazy. For people to think that they are outsmarting the books here, listen, I'm willing to make my stand. When I told you 199.5 the other day, I wasn't kidding. That's really what I thought the number was going to be, having watched and bet these two teams a lot. There's a lot of Tempo games where the live total is in the 200s in the opening quarter. Did we drop the number because Brittany Sykes is back, the best player on Toronto? It doesn't even make sense.
I'm not a fan of so far. I'm sort of we're living and dying with every shot so far. Caitlin, and the tempo is and the pace is good of this game, for over bettors. They just haven't hit shots. Caitlin literally bombed a 3 5 seconds into the game. They won the tip-off. Caitlin took a long 3. It didn't hit. Mabry just took a long 3. Didn't hit. And she's one player, Kev. Sykes just took it to the rack. She missed. I'd like to see her first shot go in. So it's only 2-0 right now. We played, a minute and a half. Not the ideal start. Just you could tell the nerves are there. But I like the pace so far of this game. But it would really be good for the over, Kevin, if we could see some Mabry shots fall early here.
Absolutely.
Because we know how Mabry operates. She gets hot. She can go off.
And if she
doesn't hit early shots, she doesn't shoot.
She keeps trying to get hot.
Yeah,
she's not going to stop shooting.
Yeah, but she passes. She'll sort of, like, she really is very temperamental. Like, she's got to get this thing going early. Like, I've seen every Tempo game. I haven't seen too many Tempo games, like, where, oh, yeah, Mabry got shut out, but she went off in the fourth quarter. It's like, no, it's more the other way around. Like, she'll go off for 20. Look at the All-Star game. She went off for 23 in the first half.
Right.
And she finished with 23.
Yeah, I think she did. Yeah. I just saw her, listen, I'm sure you'll be miles ahead of me on this game. I just saw her miss a 3. Now, look, there are other games, okay? But obviously, I'm very excited for this one. There's another WNBA game.
Just to throw it in there. Red Sox.
Connecticut and LA. I'm on the over in that game. There's actually a couple of overs that I played here on this card tonight. I played the over in the Dodger game. We'll get to that, 11.5. But talk to me a little bit, Gabe, about why you like Boston here in this spot against the Diamondbacks. They smoked Arizona yesterday.
Boston are the epitome of a streaky team, as we've seen. And it's been their theme this year, where they went off, they go on, they struggle, they go on these big streaks, they lose, they lost 7 of 10, they get back home right now. Then the bats come alive last night. They hang 11 on them. Kelly's okay, but I like Suarez better in this spot. And if you're Arizona right now, the clubhouse can't be the best situation here right now. Right? You're in the middle of a wild card chase and your best player doesn't show up. Or one of your best players doesn't show up. Right? Like,
yeah.
And now, now the drama continues and goes on. In hindsight, last night, we really knew it was going to be a problem for them. And it was. They got punched in the mouth early. Tonight, though, like I said, Boston are a hot team. When they're at home, they get streaky. It was a reasonable enough price. I want to get back in on Boston before the 200s start to pop up again. And, I got the same picks as last night, actually. I took the Red Sox and the Dodgers on the run line. Those are my 2 baseball picks last night. And I'm sure we'll get to this later, but the Kyle Tucker story is becoming real now. Now it's national already, Kevin. I said, well, it won't be a big deal until the playoffs. Now he's become this sort of like, he's becoming a meme. And we're talking about an all-star player here that's always been known as one of the best defensive outfielders. And I brought it up. He dropped the ball in the Skubal game, in Skubal's debut against the Cubs. Like, he got there. It would have been a really nice catch, but he got there and he dropped it. And it was one of those, like, you were already there. Why did you drop it? And there's been some sloppy defense. And then last night, guys, I don't know if you saw, whatever. The Dodgers are winning 11-2, so it doesn't really matter. They're winning 11-2. It's a routine fly ball to right field, and he played it in the same way that, like, a drunk fan would have played it. Like, if a contest. Like, it wasn't like, whatever, he got cocky. He was like a kid. It was like, and then he went into the scoop mode. Like, he looked like somebody that never caught a fly ball in his life before. And then later, he's basically holding the tears back in the dugout. He's sitting at the end of the dugout, and he's basically sitting there alone, and he's on the verge of tears.
Not great.
We got a problem here. He scored 11 runs. He couldn't go over 1.5 total bases.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
What Michigan have to play versus Penn State is insane. Like, instead of Big Ten teams worrying about SEC and all that, like, Michigan fans should not be happy about what Matt Campbell gets to walk into. James Franklin's got to be kicking himself. Penn State do not play Oregon, Indiana, or Ohio State. They avoided the entire Big Three of the it's incredible.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
SportsGrid. We are off and running on this WNBA slate. We're also loaded with Major League Baseball. There was a lot of 640 starts here. I was involved with a few of them. Played an over in Pittsburgh and Detroit. That's scoreless right now. Took a shot on the Reds money line at a plus price. And then it's funny, this isn't going to help defeat the narrative that I hate the Toronto Blue Jays, but I thought the price on the Rays was pretty good. About a minus 126 on Nick Martinez, who's had a very solid season for Tampa Bay, but Blue Jays scored early. Now, here's the thing about Toronto. They don't score a lot often. The Rays are good at rallies. I'm not panicked. Also, this is, again, largely irrelevant to my night based on the Tempo Fever game, but this is another big series here for Toronto, and I think one of the more interesting things to watch is Jose Soriano going to not be a streaky pitcher, which he has been throughout his career? And can he be a reliable hand for the Toronto Blue Jays, their big deadline acquisition?
Well, this is his third start as a Toronto Blue Jay, and so far he's been very solid tonight. And I don't want to, I'm not going to be that guy. So I'll just say he's been very good so far tonight. But he's been that, and I guess it's too early to like jinx a no-hitter, but he hasn't given up a hit yet. You look at his two starts here, he's given up 2 earned runs in his 2 starts. Coming into tonight, he's been super impressive. They won both games that he's pitched in as well, although albeit close. It was funny, 5-4 and 6-4, so he's got a little bit of run support. But you're right. Number one, though, before we get into the, we talk a lot about the Jays and all this, before we get into the East and all this, you're right. There were a ton of 640 starts tonight. And when did this become a thing? Like, seriously. Seriously, Kevin, like, if any other, you imagine the WNBA did this? How much would we rip them? Yeah, their game started at 640. Who else starts at 640, Kevin? Like, is it that hard, like, for everybody start at 705? Like, really, like, what is this 640 stuff? Like, some people start at 640, we start at 705 and 840, and like, there's no, and I understand, like, there's different time zones and different cities, Morency. Don't be stupid. It's not going to be uniform start times, Kevin. But, like, honestly, like, who came up with the 640 start time?
I don't know. I feel like the Phillies honestly started doing it. Maybe that's just because I was doing a bunch of shows with Donnie and he's an old man, so he was happy the game started 20 minutes earlier.
640? What's the positive to the 640? Like, why would teams do this?
Games ending earlier is the only thing I can think of. Like, you're in your car at 9 o'clock.
But it's already hard. Like, let's say you work, old days. I don't know, modern, everything's different now. But, like, the old 9 to 5 guy goes back home. He's supposed to go, you go back home, you change, you go to the game after. I don't know, 640, like I said, just 6. From a betting perspective, it's annoying, too. I guess that's what I'm really getting at, Kevin. Like,
no, listen, look, it's a little
like
weird
NFL.
for us, obviously.
Imagine if NFL, like, 8 games start at 1 o'clock, but there's like 4 of them that start at 12:40. It's like, well, why? I mean, it's just stupid. Like, I'm not a fan of the 640 stuff. I would imagine it hurts TV ratings. I think it hurts betting. Like, you know what I mean? It's a weird time. Like, put it this way. I miss 640 starts and bets more than any other time, Kevin. You know what I mean? I don't miss the 8 o'clock bets or this bet because even today I knew the Blue Jays. I'm like, son of a bitch. And they already scored, and I wanted to bet them. I was like, they scored right away. Of course they did. Right? I got him in, whatever, in a parlay now and stuff. But, like, I'm not a fan of the 640 starts, but as you stated, another big series. They're all big here from here on out. But if the Blue Jays can survive here and play 600 ball, even 500, 600, to sort of win more than you lose against the Red Sox, the Yankees, the Rays. They got to deal with the Rays and the Yankees again this week. So they have another, like, winning week this week, Kevin. They do get a little bit of a reprieve after. There's a bunch of games against the Royals, and they got some other teams like on the docket here moving forward. So this is massive for the Toronto Blue Jays, right? They've got the momentum going. Their fans are starting to believe. It sounds like a Blue Jay home game in the stands tonight. Tampa don't really have any fans. There's a lot of Torontonians there, a lot of Blue Jay fans in the building tonight. They win this series, man, high stakes going into the Bronx this weekend. I tell you that.
Yeah, that's absolutely true. You know, the interesting thing, Gabe, is like in the, call it 25 games. Let's say you need to play 600 base, you know, something like that, right? Maybe 55, whatever it might be. I do feel as if, though, due to the streaky nature of baseball, one of these teams is going to put together 7 of 8, and that's going to be the difference maker. Instead of this set, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3, 2 out of 3. It just feels like one of these teams is going to get hot and pull away and ride that wave.
How about this, though? So they play Tampa?
The whole run.
And that's why I'm just saying it could be the Jays. Because, look, they got Tampa for a 3-game set. So they're playing a 3-game set with Tampa. They got a 3-game set with the New York Yankees. They in New York. They go back home, Kevin. They host Kansas City for 3. They host Seattle for 3. They go to Cleveland for 3. They go to Kansas City for 3. They go to Sacramento for 3.
I'll put it even easier than that, Gabe.
That's strength a spot for them to go on a little run. Yeah, all right.
Strength of schedule remaining in Major League Baseball. The easiest is the Guardians, then the Mariners, and then the Toronto Blue Jays.
Boom. Remember I told you about the Mariners like 2 weeks ago? I brought that up. I said, yeah. I live in the Seattle area, so I see all the stuff, and they did this whole thing. If the Mariners can, survive until September, look at the schedule that they have after. So the numbers speak for themselves. I don't like overblowing that, Kevin. We see teams lose to inferior opponents all the time.
Yeah, absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely.
But if you're the Jays and you fight through this, Kevin, I mean, Kansas City, Sacramento,
they actually
Kansas
don't
City
need
twice.
to win either the series, you could argue, against Tampa Bay or New York, right? Because that's obviously pulling up. The strength of schedule, for anybody who doesn't know, is just your opponent's record combined into a win percentage. Yeah. Gabe, let's just say they go 2-4 in their next 6. Who cares? They'll probably have the easiest remaining schedule in baseball when they're done with the Yankees. That's what,
they end with the Cincinnati Reds. Talk about a weird ending, huh? Yeah. At home. They get a 3 spot against the Reds at home.
I don't like that. Ellie De La Cruz, I don't like that.
Reds will be so done by then.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS, but then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
Michigan have to play versus Penn State is insane. Like, instead of Big Ten teams worrying about SEC and all that, like, Michigan fans should not be happy about what Matt Campbell gets to walk into. James Franklin's got to be kicking himself. Penn State do not play Oregon, Indiana, or Ohio State. They avoided the entire Big Three of the it's incredible.
In-game live, only on SportsGrid.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
Okay, guys, back right here on SportsGrid. Updates on the live W board. In-game total, 192.5. Trending between Toronto and Indiana. That's what you like to see. The Sun have flipped to favorites on the Sparks, now up 7. They're laying 5.5 at the end of that opening quarter. There's a lot going on here, though, on a baseball board as well. So we're following all of this action. I will say the headlines out of Arizona, I know it's a bit of a reason, Gabe, why you're playing Boston, all just very confusing here. Like, Ketel Marte is back in Phoenix after the no-show for knee testing. I don't understand really what's going on. Is this a story that you've been following here with Ketel Marte and the Arizona Diamondbacks?
No, I don't have any insight, like anything more to add than what's out there already. I mean, I was surprised the other day, right, when he didn't show up. And it went from him not showing up to him now with MRIs. Clearly, there's a lack of communication between him, the team, the manager. I saw a quote talking about a lack of communication, etc. But clearly, there's something going on behind the scenes here. And as you stated, he wanted to be traded. He didn't. He did. They didn't. And I don't know. I don't know, like, the ins and outs. I don't follow the D-back closely enough to pretend.
Yeah, it's a very odd one. It's one that we saw yesterday, and it's something Arizona do not need, Gabe, is, gosh, they're one of a million teams who wish they were in the American League, but they're right there in this wild card race. I mean, absolutely right there. A game back of San Diego, 2 back of Philadelphia. The Phillies who have started to put it together here a little bit as well.
Here's something, too. Here, Kevin. Here's Corbin Carroll today asked. Corbin Carroll, when asked about Marte's no-show in Boston, if it was a distraction. In full transparency, I think some part of the players were probably thinking about the guy. It's a weird answer to say, yes, it's a distraction.
The nicest way ever of being like,
it's the quote. In full transparency, I think some part of the players, I don't know, some part of the clubhouse, you should have said, but whatever. Like, he got asked this question, and, in his mind, Kevin, he's thinking, all right, I got to really, watch what I say here. So, in full transparency, I think part of some of the players were probably thinking about the guy. It's the weirdest quote ever, isn't it? Thinking about the guy. No kidding. You're getting ready to play the Red Sox. Like, where's
how about this?
Where's Kettle? He's not here. He didn't show up. Like, what do you mean he didn't show up? Did he get hit by a car?
Different, very legitimate reporters, with one saying back in Arizona for an MRI on the knee, and another who was saying, yeah, he's actually in Boston dealing with a personal situation. What? Oh, guys, what? We're playing Where's Waldo here.
I almost feel like it's the Rafael Devers last year in Boston. You know what I mean?
Right.
It sort of has the same sort of, the Red Sox manager, the Red Sox owner there, the actual owner, flew on the road to meet Devers to, tell him to chill out and everything's going to be fine and you don't need to be traded and stuff. And Devers, stiff John Henry. Like Devers walked into the meeting with John Henry, the owner. It's rare that an owner gets on his private plane, flies on the road, and like meets one of the players at a hotel to try to like calm things down. That's like Kevin, seriously, like that's rare. And Devers basically told Henry within like 2-3 minutes, "You shouldn't have come here. You wasted your time."
And one by Gabe. I don't know if you got eyes on this thing, man. Live total 195.5. Something like. And I know you don't mind jumping in again.
33-23. Well, we got 56, Kevin, in the first, and I tell you, the tempo really haven't looked good on offense yet either.
No, they're starting to figure it out. Guys, I know this is not how it works.
199
just like people to understand. I would just like, is that what you're seeing, 199.5, Gabe?
Yeah. So
I see
like
195.5. Let me look around.
What?
Hold on a second, though.
Hit refresh.
Hold on a second. That's what I'm trying
hammer
to. I'm like,
if you do, hammer it, because I got a
197.5. Hold on a second. Is this right?
199.5 minus 115. What's your point spread? 14.5 now. That's mine. 14.
15.5. So right there.
Really?
Yeah.
195 or what?
Minus 118. 195.5 minus 118.
Let me see what's FanDuel dealing here. FanDuel's got
You know what, Gabe, I think is going to be a good consolation.
Oh my God.
You correctly guessed what the number they would post is. I correctly guessed what the number should have been.
And here we are. Dude, FanDuel, guys, has 195.5 right now. If you have access to a FanDuel account, hit that. Hit it. Oh. You got to...
Back right here on SportsGrid. On pace at the end of the opening quarter for 224 points. That's what 56 times 4 is. I'm not saying we're going to get to 224, but guess what? I'm not saying we're not. We had eyes on that opening quarter. Did that look like some unsustainable, like, that'll never happen again? The Temple were 2 of 10 from 3. The only player on the Indiana Fever who's on fire is Kelsey Mitchell. So, guys, like, I'm sorry, but they didn't even play that well. Like either side can pick that up. I feel very good about where we are right now, Gabe. I really do.
No, and I agree with the assessment in the sense, guys. I've been watching this game, and we know the tempo well. It's been very clunky for them. Tempo, as Kevin just stated, they've missed a million shots. They're scoring on some putbacks and stuff. They've taken it to the rack. They've gotten to the free throw line a bit. The Fever are shooting the ball pretty well, obviously. So, Kelsey Mitchell actually is the one, and we said we're going to go back to her over the 2.5 3. She's 2 or 3 already in this game, so she's been more aggressive. But you're right. I mean, the only danger here is, Kevin, where you can't, unload the brinks, you don't bring the dump truck out, is we've seen, is there a team that can go as cold as the Tempo do sometimes?
Yeah.
We've
Absolutely.
seen it, right?
Yep.
We've seen a Tempo score 27 in a quarter and then 6, right? And then it's weird. They could have a good third quarter. Remember the game against Dallas 2 weeks ago? They literally, the Tempo went on a 16-0 run. They had a 13-point lead and ended up losing by 17. Right? They hit a wall.
But Gabe, let's take a look at Toronto right now.
Home.
They're not
21,000 people.
That. Gabe, they didn't shoot well in the opening quarter and scored 25 or 23.
They're going on the free throw line now too. They've done a good job of that. They're getting to the rack.
They're running really well. I love the pace that Kiki Rice is playing at here. Mabry is staying aggressive in a way that she should stay aggressive. I think the game is set up very, very nicely for us here right now. I do. And
so far so good. Like you said too, everyone knows we bet a lot. We're known as being over bettors. And there's times where it's a struggle and you're kind of looking at the clock and you're thinking, man, they better start scoring more. We're on pace right now, and no one's really stepped up and gotten hot yet. Right? Mm-hmm. There's more to come. Besides Kelsey Mitchell, who's just on freaking fire. She's got 16 points. She's 6 of 8 from the field. Let's check in with the queen here, Caitlin Clark. 3 points, 1 of 5 from the field tonight. 2 assists, so Caitlin not putting up big stats so far. Mabry 7, which is pretty good for her at this point. Like Kevin just said, Mabry's pretty engaged in this game. She's flying around and stuff. So Mabry could get hot here. And Sykes has missed a couple of shots here, Kevin. She's 1 for 5 from the field, even though she got 4 points, 2 for 2 from the line. You got to believe the ball will start falling for Brittany a little bit. Now she's got a quarter under her belt.
Yeah, I think that's a really, really, really good point with this being her first game back. I also think it shows it's just kind of a big game, one that she was excited to play. I just wanted to mention just to the Kelsey Mitchell stuff of it all. Look, the Fever are divisive. We know that. I think sometimes people talk about the Fever being, they're not that good because they're trying to say Caitlin Clark's not that good, which is a debate in of itself. Because Kelsey Mitchell is that good. She's the second best scorer in the league. Only behind Aaliyah Boston. Kelsey Mitchell was a first overall pick. Aaliyah Boston was a first overall pick. These are women who have lived up to their billing or are starting to live up to their bill. Aaliyah Boston didn't hit the ground running in Indiana. But she's she's a perennial all-star now. That's kind of it is a story. So much of the Indiana Fever conversations have nothing to do with basketball. And the few times they do, it's people giving inaccurate opinions, both sides of Caitlin Clark. This is a good basketball team.
I think and that's why it was comical. Remember last week? Oh, you're going to fire the coach. So you're going to fire, what do you fire the coach? Your job, how hard it is to coach this team? You know what I mean? Yeah. It's one of the hardest jobs in the world right now. I'm being dead serious. Whatever she says, whatever they do, like you said. And to me, Kevin, Kelsey Mitchell and Aaliyah Boston, they have to have, they need to be so mentally strong, Kevin, to, deal with this. And not just say, you know what? I don't want to be here. I'm not doing this. I
think what helps is they really completely
they're over, their careers are being completely overshadowed. Kelsey Mitchell's being completely overshadowed. Like you said, you know what I mean? It's Caitlin, Sophia's the political side. You got Caitlin is Caitlin, and it's just so polarizing on everything that she does, and it's not even her fault. I don't blame her at all. I blame Sophia. She brings it upon herself. She knows what, Sophia's one of these starts problems and then backs off. Oh, why can't everyone get along? right? It's like you're the one who starts stuff all the time, so you shut up. Like, yeah, you're cool and all this, but like, you're also, you're a problem disturber here, and no one ever talks. Like Aaliyah Boston, no one ever talks about her, Kevin. No one talks about it.
And again, that's because people don't talk about basketball when they talk about the
You have to have
fever.
a strong ego to get through that. Like a lot of players would be like, I'm not going to live my career like in the shadow of Sophia Cunningham's videos and like, and this, like,
If I can just say this though, like I understand why a lot of people spend time going after people who use Indiana to make awful stances. However, it would also be beneficial if people who do care about this league occasionally talked about Indiana outside of those defenses. Like, it would be interesting if they occasionally talked about the fact, Gabe, that they might be the best offense in the history of the WNBA. Like, that is a very relevant conversation to this league. Like, Kelsey Mitchell, Clark's efficiency, Aaliyah Boston's growth on both sides of the basketball. She makes a great block. Like, those are conversations that need to be happening way more frequently.
Yeah. The conversation really should be, at this point, wow, can't believe the Indiana Fever are plus 900. Yeah. That should be a conversation. And I got to tell you guys, personally, I think they're 1 year away. I don't feel like, this is their year. They're going to win this year. And as Kevin was talking about, guys, and I'm not a Caitlin Clark hater at all. I like Caitlin, right? I have no beef with Caitlin. Like, she never says anything, and people like project things on her all the time, right? And then they got mad when they asked her about the trans stuff or whatever the other day. And she had the best answer, Kevin. She said, "I'm a basketball player. I'm not a scientist. I'm not a doctor. I don't know." It was the best. Like, she basically said, I don't know. She goes, ask people at whatever. And she goes, I don't follow that stuff. Like, ask me a basketball question. And everyone on the right got mad, right? And remember in the old days, Kevin, people got mad at Michael Jordan, right? Michael Jordan wasn't political enough. And his famous line was, Republicans buy sneakers too.
Yeah.
Right? Which it didn't endear him. Trust me. Like, he felt heat for that. But I like Caitlin, that she stays out of this stuff. People, like you said, she's being used. They're a pawn. And her coach knows this, and it's frustrating for everybody. But you're right. And it's funny because Bill Simmons posted today about, wow. And I'll give him credit for actually recognizing that the Fever were plus 900. And he said, somebody explained to me why the Fever are like at plus 900. He goes, they're clearly coming out of the East. And I was like, Bill. I was like, Bill, like, you had it, Bill.
You know what, though? I got to tell you, Gabe, it's one of the things I notice. People haven't adjusted to the fact that the conferences, like, aren't really a thing anymore. I guess.
I know, but the thing is, if you're a guy
I'm not defending him. I'm not defending him.
a year,
I had the same.
I don't care if someone doesn't know. If your brother doesn't know, I'm not calling him out. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. If you're Bill Simmons and you're Mr. Holier than now, then you got to know that.
Gabe, if you're giving out the pick because you think they have a free ride to the finals because they're going to win the East, you should probably know.
Somebody responded. They played Minnesota in the second round, Bill.
Back with you guys right here on SportsGrid. And, look, the Indiana Fever have found themselves as, more than just a popular team. This is a very good basketball team who have very good wins under their belt. They own the Liberty for some reason. Gutty overtime win against the Dream. If it wasn't for that Aces result, they'd be sitting there saying, and it's not that it's a bad result, but they'd be like, okay, so we lost at Minnesota. Other than that, we've won, I think it's like 11 out of 10, 9 out of 10. It's a team game who's clearly trending up. Healthier basketball team, I think, as well. Like, that's probably not been a big part of the conversation on their season. Clark and Aaliyah Boston were like splitting back-to-backs for a while here. If Minnesota are not going to win it, then obviously the Indiana Fever are a part of that conversation of teams that can.
It's kind of crazy to me that they are plus 900 when you consider how popular they are. Right? It goes to show the people that like them don't actually watch the league. You know what I'm saying? In a sense, so many people in the media that use them as pawns don't actually bet on them, Kevin, to say they're going to win it all. Right? Otherwise, they wouldn't be plus 900. Right? But they're close, man. Like, they are really good, as Kevin states. And, all the stuff around them, it gets lost. People, it sort of gets overshadowed a little bit. But at the same point in time, I think what a lot of the other women do in the league gets overshadowed as well, right? But at plus 900, you and I watch this league daily, plus 900 is great value. Like, even right now, it is great value. If you look at the playoff picture right now, like, what will change here looking at the playoff picture? All right, so 7 and 8 doesn't really matter. Portland aren't catching Dallas. So basically, it's Dallas. The Mystics are going to get into the playoffs. So basically, the Mystics and the Wings are battling for, like, who's going to be 7 and 8. Either way, it won't end well for either of you. Like, you know what I mean? Playing the Lynx or the Valkyries. I'm telling you, though, Kevin, what about the Valkyries? Like, what's your deal with not liking the Valkyries? Like, they're plus 900 too. And like I said, they have the second best record in the league. Kevin, they have a 735 winning percentage, bro. They have a second too. Yeah. The Lynx are 29 and 7. They're 25 and 9. And then the Aces are 24 and 12. The Fever are 23 and 12. But people don't talk about Golden State as being this elite team to beat.
Basketball is basketball. The Houston Cougars are the best defensive team in the country every year.
So you're comparing to the Houston Cougars.
Utah Jazz at Rudy Gobert were the best defensive team in the league every year.
Is that fair, though? Is this fair, though?
Is it unfair? You're the best defensive team in the league. But, Gabe, there's only one team that's supposed to be in the playoffs who score fewer points per game than them, and it's Washington. Gabe, all of the top 6 average 90 a night. They average 83.4. It's a big gap, Gabe. They're a completely different basketball team.
It is.
I'm not saying they're bad.
They have the 12.
But
you're right. It's 12. Well, that's
Golden
my
State's
issue with them.
Isn't because people don't know who they are.
The Cougars, that's why we go back in time here. And I don't know why they didn't want to do it. But you had the one damn player that could have helped you on the market. Like, seriously. Like, to me, what's Golden State missing? They're missing now one offensive punch. Right? For people who know the Valkyries, so they score 83 a night, not enough. Like, it's enough to dominate the regular season, but the problem is, like the Houston Cougar, or like a football team that wants to run the ball.
Everyone plays defense in the playoffs.
Yeah, the thing is, it's all a great strategy, Kevin, until you're down by 7, right? With 5 minutes left. And you're like, oh, God, we don't have anyone. Like, they have, 5 girls that score 12, 13 a night, but they don't have that instant pop type thing that you kind of need, like Kelsey Mitchell can give you, like Caitlin can give you, like Asia Wilson can give you, like
another level to get to?
Jackie Young can give you. Like,
realistically, they're allowing 76 points per game. The next closest in the league is Washington at 82. They're not going to allow 70 a night in the playoffs. They're Tom Thibodeau. Tom Thibodeau would win 50 games every year in his sleep. Tom Thibodeau wasn't coaching an NBA Finals.
I know, but I don't look at Golden State as that inept offensively. It's not like they're inept offensively. Like, you know what I mean?
They're the 4th lowest scoring team in the league.
I know,
they're not
It's the style they play. It's not like they miss a million shots and they're terrible. It's the pace they play at. They slow things down. They're a defense first team. And they say the defense wins championships, but that's kind of something I don't believe to be true anymore. I'll admit that, Kevin. Like, I've always said that about when they say, defense wins championships. I'm like, yeah, but you got to score to get to the championship.
Yeah.
Like, I always believe that the better defense will win the Super Bowl, but you got to get there first, right? Like, you know what I mean? It doesn't mean you have to be the best defense in the league. It means you have to be a better defense than the team you're playing.
Just to your point, Gabe, they are 6th in the league in offensive rating. They are the slowest team in the league by a lot.
So 6th by offensive rating. So they're not an inept team. But
no,
if they play the fever, it's a problem. Because, like you said, it's hard to contain a really good offense. Like, let's say the goal is, like, I just want to break down who they're going to play. All right, so round 1, they get the Wings or the Mystics. God, Mystics and Valkyries, Kevin, those totals, huh? What, 163s? Mystics and Valkyries. But I think you would agree Valkyries beat either the Mystics or the Wings in the first round, right?
You know what I'm just pulling up, though, quickly, Gabe?
They would be on a collision course with the Liberty, right? As I'm sort of seeing this, they would get the Liberty. Yeah, I think they would get the Liberty in the second round.
Gabe, I think this is exactly what we're kind of trying to get at here. They've played the Lynx and Aces 5 times. What do you think their record is?
2-3?
0-5.
God, I didn't want to walk into that.
I asked for. I got to tell you, I appreciate you guessing 2-3, but you know I wouldn't have asked that if they were 2-3.
No, I know, but like when you set it up, though, I knew it was going to be bad, so I was trying to be like positive. Sort of like your tone. What do you think they are? I was like, well, they're not 5-0. Otherwise, you wouldn't be making this argument, right?
Yeah, I would have asked it very differently. I'd be like, wow, you know what? Yeah,
your tone. I was like, I was going to say 1-4, but I was like, I don't know, 2-3.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS, but then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Let me pop over to the baseball board before halftime hits in Indiana, Toronto, where we're going to get you a full breakdown of this game and where these numbers are sitting right now. Yanks and Orioles are tied at 1 apiece. It's funny. Blue Jay fans now turn to becoming Yankee fans here in this series. Keep Baltimore away. 1 apiece in Philadelphia, Miami. Pittsburgh up 3-1 on Detroit. The Guardians are rolling the Giants right now. And a big 6 spot. How about Toronto here? They lit up Nick Martinez. They have chased him out of this game now as well. All 6 runs belonging to Nick Martinez. This is, in my opinion, the most impressive stretch. No, not at all. Not at all. They're going to win this game and go to 62 and 65. No,
I don't care. It doesn't matter. Look at the wild card standings, not their record. Not their record.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah, okay, all right. They're with 1,000 other teams. It's a good win.
No, they're not 1,000 other teams. And they're better than those other teams. And here we go again. All right, we'll see.
I know.
Sorry. Here we go. Soriano's giving up 3 hits, not shutout ball. Tampa are a good team, and they're beating them 6-0. They're beating them up right now. Very impressive. And one thing too, Nick Martinez. We've talked a lot about Nick Martinez, and I was so confident in the Jays and then how they're mojo right now that I was like, oh boy. Like the casual baseball fan wouldn't realize beating Nick Martinez is not easy. Like the Rays guys are 19-4 in his starts. They do not lose when he pitches. And he doesn't lose. And they're lighting him up. Very impressive. So I'll give you that you give him credit saying this is the most impressive one. Offense coming alive a little bit, Kevin. Normally they score 2 runs in a game. They've scored 2 runs in an inning 3 times tonight.
Yeah, that. This is the best they've looked. But that offense, it's the 2nd lowest scoring offense in the American League. I understand they're not trying to win the division.
They beat the Phillies 2-3. They beat the Phillies 2-3.
Absolutely. They've been
beat the
grinding
Yankees.
series
They beat
out.
the Red Sox 3-4. They beat the Yankees 2-3. They're playing good teams and winning. They're playing good teams and winning. I'm telling you all right now, people, don't listen to Walsh and his hatred. The Jays will make the playoffs.
You'll never hear a team who
pray they play the Yankees. I pray they play the Yankees.
Don't worry, it's not possible unless it's like the ALCS, at which point Lord knows what'll be going on at that. If we get a Yankees,
if the Jays get that far,
Jays ALCS. No, stop.
They'll be red hot. There'll be no turning back.
There's never been a team who sits in last place in a division this deep into a baseball season that gets this type of positive coverage. There never has been. And I'm just here to balance it out. That's all. Someone's got to do it. I'll step up.
No, it's not so much positive coverage. It's just from a betting perspective, to me, they are the best bet of these teams. They have the highest ceiling. They've underachieved all year. They haven't hit the baseball, and they're starting to heat up right now. The wins are starting to add up. They just got to keep chipping away. Like you said, there are some teams ahead of them here still. The Minnesota Twins have been annoying and sort of lingering around here. You got the Tigers, you got the Rangers, and you got Baltimore. But Toronto and Baltimore will play each other down the road. It'll even itself out. But whether you think the Jays are good or not, you can't deny. The last 3 weeks, they've been a great bet. They've been one of the best bets in baseball.
And that was one of the things that I said to you the other day when we were talking about betting them to make the playoffs. It's a big number, you can, but what's the point when you're going to bet them every night? And you have been, and it's been working, right? Listen, we like to cap matchups, but I don't think, Gabe, that every night you're just accidentally liking Toronto. You like Toronto every night. They're winning more than they're losing, so therefore you're winning more than you're losing. It's great. Nick Martinez is not a guy you bet against, but they're playing the Blue Jays, so you bet Toronto, and it's worked out. And I'm saying it's a good strategy here.
And for the record, the Tigers are losing 3-1 to the Pirates right now.
Yep. Now they took that opening game of that series, right?
Red
so
Sox
they at least kind of have that going for them.
We talked about the Red Sox being a streaky team. They're a streaky team, the Red Sox. When they're good, they're good. When they're cold, they're cold. But it's baseball, guys. People overreact to this stuff.
Yeah, I mean, that is obviously they are the only team right now in this wild card race playing above 500 baseball over their last 10 games. There is no denying that. The question becomes, what happens if one team gets hot and it's not them?
But that's the whole thing. I mean, we could talk about the Blue Jays record. I mean, the Baltimore Orioles have a wild card spot. They're 61-64.
Yeah.
Right? So you don't have to be. Like, this isn't the NL West here. So just keep chipping away. I'm telling you, I believe it'll be the Toronto Blue Jays in the playoffs when it's all said and done.
Fever, tempo, updates at the half. Next.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
In-game live on a Tuesday night. Kevin Walsh, Gabriel Morency. I have a quick story to tell, if you guys wouldn't mind. It's very, very quick. We were behind – college football is getting close. We were behind the scenes. We were debating Texas football. And one of our producers, Koski, was like, I'm telling you, man, Texas is good. And Gabe responded with, yep, they always are. They're always good. It doesn't mean they're going to deliver. And I'm scrolling the timeline during our commercial here, and up came the game-winning play from a Week 1 Notre Dame, Texas, Week 1, 2016. Game-winning touchdown for Texas, Joe Tessitore, and Texas is back, folks. Sorry, Joe. Decade later, maybe. Decade later, he might have nailed this one game.
Texas is back. I've heard that for 50 years.
It really cracked me up in the commercial.
Last year, it got me, too, when Texas A&M suddenly were good. Texas A&M are back. I'm like, back from what? They've never won in my lifetime. Like, what do you mean they're back? They've never won in my lifetime, Kevin.
Gabe, that Texas team who beat Notre Dame Week 1, they finished 5-7. They finished 5-7. That Texas team. So not the best call. Well, it was
can't wait to see how that plays out, man. Texas, Ohio State, such a big game.
Yeah. Can't wait. I think I'll be on Texas. I think we'll be head to head.
I don't have a choice. Like I can't. Like I don't know. What am I going to do? You know what I mean? I rarely bet Ohio State. I don't. I won't bet their games because I'm not stupid, so I don't like getting in front of them. Yeah, I don't have a choice.
What are you talking about?
No, there's no.
I've never seen someone with an easier out in my whole life. I'm not betting Ohio State. Give me Texas. What are you talking about? I don't have a choice. That's insane. That's
I have to bet Texas. Like, that's the only way. Like, I can watch that football game. Like, I'm not going to be cheering for Ohio State.
Oh, hold on a minute. You're going to bet Texas?
That's the only bet for me.
I don't know.
I'm not saying that that's the bet that I could tell people to do.
Don't do this.
But
you have
Texas,
said
at some point, Texas. I know that Texas, like at some point, Kevin, they have to win a big game, don't they?
Yeah, but Gabe, the amount of times I've heard you say you're betting Ohio State, were you just kind of riding high off Big Ten media days?
I never said that.
Versus
I
Texas.
don't bet Ohio State.
Versus Texas.
I said that I would like to bet Texas, but you know what I mean? I'm in one of these weird deals. I don't trust Texas, Kevin.
Yeah,
but I wouldn't bet Ohio State. Like, I'd like to see Ohio State lose. I'd like to see Ohio State go, lose 5 times.
No, I get that. You might get close this year. That's it.
I don't think so. Well, that's the thing. Listen, you say you might get close. Not for everybody out there. Dude, the only time I ever bet Ohio State, Kevin, is like rarely, super rarely, I'll do it in like the first week if they're playing like Ohio or something. And then even then they screw me, right? But no, like I can't, they won't cover, right? They won't cover when I take them.
You're the best. You are the best. The only time I bet Ohio State, it's like when they play Ohio. They do that every year. Ohio and late 50. Every year.
Doesn't mean I do it every time. Doesn't mean I do it every time.
Week 1, you will bet. You know what? Maybe you won't.
I will not be. No, you will see. You will see during the season. I am one of these people, Kevin, that I'll talk myself into the opponent. Seattle's tough place to play. The Washington Huskies can all they can handle.
I didn't know I could get more excited for Ohio State, Texas, and I just did. I didn't know I could get more excited.
No, I really don't like Ohio State. Like, I like to see them suffer and lose.
I know. But
like,
you
to
also
me, it's a good day if Ryan Day has a bad day.
You're a Big Ten guy.
I am.
Let's be real.
I am, and I hate to admit, because, you know what, though? But they're like the one team that they don't count. Like, you know what I mean? Like, even Michigan State, like, when they made it to the college basketball final, I was like, yeah, let's do it for Michigan and the state and whatever, and the Big Ten. You know what I mean? Because I am that Big Ten first guy, but Ohio State, they can go screw themselves. I don't care. Like, I'd rather see them suffer.
This will be good. I got to tell you, I'm pretty sure you're going to end up on Ohio State in that game.
There's no way in hell I'll bet. I know. There's no way in hell I'm going to bet Ohio State in that game. There's no way in hell.
I'm just telling you. Listen, again,
I'm not going to bet the farm. I'm not going to go crazy on Texas. I don't want to set my out because I know it's a toss-up, but I do believe that Arch Manning is going to be this year what people hyped him up to be last year.
I like that take. He was very good down the stretch.
He really was.
Very good. And it wasn't just
Kevin, exponentially, like how we read defenses, the passes, the arc of the passes, the
rushing pop,
just everything. You started to see, this is what everyone will see. This is what we see here. And you can't overreact to Camp, but he's throwing bullets, Kevin. He's throwing bullets. And I'll tell you what, the Texas Longhorns have better wide receivers than some NFL teams do. Like, dear God, that wide receiver room is loaded.
Also, I'm more than positive you watched the entire game. I know it's a bowl game. He ran for 155 yards and 2 touchdowns against Michigan. 155 yards. Like,
it was Michigan's B team, but it was a big step. And then he took another big step in camp this year. You could just see it. Yeah. Right? And this Cam Coleman dude's a stud. They bring in.
Yes. I'm surprised they're not ranked ahead of Ohio State. Like, I don't understand that. They have the Heisman Trophy favorite. I'm not, following at all. Like, why Ohio State are ranked 1? It's not made sense to me yet.
I'm not fully sold on Julian Sayin, personally. I think he has a high ceiling and he has potential, Kevin. But honestly, when he was forced to throw last year, that's when they got in trouble.
Yeah, I'm not in love with saying I think he's got a high floor. I think we saw that last year.
He's got a ton of weapons to work with, right? That makes it easier for him as well.
But I don't like the Arthur Smith move. It doesn't excite me. I actually think at times Ohio State were too slow and they didn't try to exploit the pass attack that they had at their disposal, and Arthur Smith is not going to change that. You're telling me Arthur Smith's going to come in and run 2 wide receiver sets with the best wide receiver room in college football? That's a bad
I will agree with that. That Ohio State are one of these teams that have like 45-star blue chips, but they hold them back. They don't really do anything after, which I don't mind, actually. You know, they change coordinators so much because they're kind of erratic from a year-to-year basis. It takes them a while to sort of get it going. Sane has looked good in camp, too. He's bulked up and all that. High ceiling. But you and I agreed. It's strange how there's some sort of consensus number one with everybody.
Yeah.
Especially when they're going on the road in like week 2 in a game that's basically a pick'em, Kevin.
I don't understand how Ohio State has more offseason hype than Arch Manning in year 2.
I
don't know how that
win this game. Who's being hyped this year?
So you know what's tough though, Gabe, because all of our timelines are curated to our eyes. I do think I'm starting to see a lot of the Carr stuff. Like I saw Peter Schrager today talking about CJ Carr and how he lit up the Manning camp and he could be the first overall pick. Yeah. I do think you're starting to see a lot of that Notre Dame pub.
The thing with CJ Carr, he's going to get a lot of publicity this year, guys, because he's going to put up big numbers. And you and I talked about it. Do they want to get him the Heisman? Do they want to get him into the mix for the Heisman and all that type of stuff? But Notre Dame's schedule is pretty soft to start the season. So he's going to be throwing 3-4 touchdowns. They lost their running backs. He should be a little bit pass heavier this time, built around the quarterback a little bit more, right? So he is going to get a lot of attention. But the other guys are playing against real teams in real games. So they're going to get bigger attention.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Getting chippy.
Tempo. Here comes the tempo.
Chippy. It's getting chippy. Kelsey Mitchell and Marina Mabrey pushing back and forth a little bit. I don't know if I like that because I don't want these teams to think. But you know what? It might be fine because neither one of these teams get angry.
We want points, Kevin. We don't want a street fight here. We want points.
Yeah.
That sucks. Kevin, Mabry just hit a 3, but it didn't count because Juscani just hit someone. That's what I'm saying, girls. Chill out. Like, let's play basketball. This isn't a fight.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. We respond with offense here. We respond with offense. Total at the half was 197 and a hook.
Mine was
right
200.
Where we want it to be.
Mine was 200.
Oh, I'm seeing 200 now. You know what?
Now
Maybe
I got 202 and a half. I got just moved to 201 and a half.
Yeah, you got a big number there, Gabe. You got a big number there.
Bet365 have been a little ahead of the curve all night here with this total, but they've been right, Kevin. Right?
Yeah.
Like the other books set it up low. I told you guys for tuning in at 195 and a half. I'm like, just for the value. Bet365 is a smart book. Like they know what they're doing, so they're not going to get caught with a 195 and a half. They were like, no, 199 and a half, and now it's 200, etc. So it's 200 and a half. It's sort of slowing down because, like you said, it's been a very sort of chippy start here. They have scored 11 points in 3 minutes, in 2.5 minutes.
Yeah,
it's pretty good,
fine.
actually, but it is chippy.
I really like your point, though, about Sykes growing into this game, right? And in the first quarter, I didn't feel like she was, like, massive, but she's now sitting with 12 points, 5 of 11 shooting.
Oh, here she is right now. Oh, she just passed it, though.
The tempo could become a play-on team with Sykes back.
Well, down the stretch, if we keep on getting points. Because exactly, you and I talk about it. Some people look, if you're an outsider, Kevin, how many people tonight, Caitlin for 3, how many people tonight were out, sort of casuals, look and just sort of look at the standings, Kevin? They look at the Toronto Tampa, oh, they're terrible. They're an expansion team. You know what I mean? Oh, they've lost 14 of the last 15 games. But let me ask you this, let me put it in this way. Have you ever seen a team that's lost 14 of the last 15 games play as hard as this team? Like, their body language, you couldn't tell. Like, they haven't quit. They don't mail it in.
Tonight. They're up for tonight. There are some games, though, where, the wheels fall off.
Just because they're bad, though. Yeah, sometimes. And on the road, there's been a couple of, I noticed this with the Tempo, there's a couple of times at the end of these road trips, it gets ugly. Like the last one by the last game, it was bad,
I appreciate the tempo. I'm not going to sit here and call them the hardest nosed team in the league. I can't do that for you. I can't.
It's all evident by point spread covers, though, right? It's evident by covers, and they play within the number. Like I said, like late in games, they'll keep on shooting and stuff. And despite their porous, straight up record, which, it's been a rough, they're 10-23. It's funny. They were 9-9, guys. They were 9-9. They're 10-23 right now. They're 13-15 against the spread, Kevin. It's pretty impressive. Like, they're not getting blown out. Like, yeah, they fall apart and stuff, but when they fall apart and they give up, like they go, like the other team goes on a 33 run, the Tempo had a 13-point lead or whatnot. So, so it's sort of like it goes back the other way. But they have been a good team, like to bet on. Look, they've covered 3 of the last 4 games, Kevin. Even though they lost 4 outright, they have covered 3 of the last 4.
Yeah, the number started to peak a little bit. That's kind of where we are. And again, with Sykes back, they could be a play on team. It won't take the books ages to catch up.
Slowing down a little bit right now. The Fever are missing shots here to start the second. And here's Mabry misses a layup. Toronto have missed a couple of y'all. Come on. Like, people rip Angel Reese all the time for missing putbacks. Guys, there's like 100 missed putbacks a night in this league. Toronto just missed like 2 easy shots. It's still on pace. We're 198.5 right now, but I'd like to see Toronto get this thing going offensively a little bit here. And they just did. All right. They just scored a deuce. So, so 67-57, 198.5.
By the way, just, quickly on the baseball board, Gabe, this is, I'm going to argue, a good sign for Boston. Tell me if you disagree. Up 3-0.
Oh, boy.
they allow a grand slam, trail 4-3. During their win streak, I feel like this is what they did every time. They take the lead back the next half inning.
They respond right away.
Yeah, that was to me one of the key things. Gabe and I would tune in at 7 o'clock. They'd be down 1-0, and by 7:12, they'd be up 2-1. That was a lot of these Red Sox games here. So I think that's a really, really nice sign for Boston. Did you end up betting this Mets-Padres game, by the way? Because it was a light number tonight, and I can't tell. I think a lot of it is the books are having to start to respect the New York Mets a little bit here, Gabe. Winners of 4 in a row, playing just such better baseball.
Yeah, well, we're here for in-game betting, and I'll tell you what, they're only down 1-0, and you're getting plus 172 with them right now.
So not a bad number.
Yeah, in a 1-0 baseball game. And the Mets are even batting. The Mets are even batting right now. So you know what? If they don't score here and they're already 2 out, you get a better number in a second here. So that's a pretty. Me and Kevin have been pretty good at finding sort of like the numbers. You're not even betting the teams. Like just take the team out of it. You have a team down by 1 run that gets the last at bat. We're only in the 4th inning, and by the way, this team happens to be one of the hottest teams in baseball right now, the New York Mets. So plus 172 down 1 run. I don't hate that at all.
Fernando Tatis did start that game off with a home run. It does not feel all that long ago that Tatis was deep into the season without a home run. He's got 13 now, which is more than double Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
Yeah, I knew you had to see. There's the Blue Jay hater, and you had to come back.
Well, I mean, listen, the numbers are the numbers, right? This guy didn't hit a home run until May.
Tatis has turned it on. But I was going to say with the Mets here, guys, sort of like we talk about, it's not extra innings right now, but it's only the 4th inning. So you got a hot team at home. You got plus 172 here. Let's just say the Mets put up 2-3 runs in an inning, right? They take a 2-1 lead. They take a 3-1 lead in the game. Suddenly you're going to get San Diego at plus 200. Boom, you catch that, and you can walk away a winner. Right? Baseball betting really is prime for this stuff.
Yankees are tied 1-1 with Baltimore still as well.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS, but then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
The dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, guys, back at the right here on SportsGrid. We are continuing to follow the Fever and the Temple. What we have not done, though, yet is actually talk about the two later games, which involves a pretty big one between Las Vegas and Atlanta. And I'm once again sat here as somebody who bet the Atlanta Dream preseason to win the WNBA championship, appreciative of the respect they get from the books, big picture, but small picture, very annoyed. I can't bet Atlanta at 3.5 in Las Vegas. That doesn't feel like a good number. I don't feel like Las Vegas are a team I'm super interested in fading off of a loss because they just lost at home to Minnesota again. And I don't know how you read this one here, Gabe. Asia Wilson, Angel Reese props may be interesting, but I see the books continue to respect Atlanta, but I think you've mentioned like they're actually one of the lesser ATS teams that this league has to offer up.
They really are. And I think Atlanta are good. But listen, Atlanta and Indiana are kind of on a collision course right here, right now, right? With the 4 and the 5. I think Indiana will beat them. We just saw them play over the weekend. It was in Atlanta. It went to overtime. It was super close. But I think the Fever would end up beating them. They're 21-13 on the season, guys, the Atlanta Dream. But they're 12-22 against the spread. 12-22. So, like, when they win, they don't cover. And you kind of called it here. It's not really a play. I mean, Atlanta are coming off that tough loss to Indiana. So they're coming off a loss as well. But they've got to fly across the country now to Las Vegas and face a Vegas team that has lost 3 of their last 5 games, Kevin. Right? Yeah. Like, you're going to get Vegas in a bad mood here. They lost twice. Listen, they mailed in the game against Minnesota. Right? Becky Hammond rested everybody and pissed everybody off, but they rested everybody against Minnesota. They got lit up by the Liberty. They won their little home series against the Mystics, and then they followed that up, and they wanted the game, Kevin, against Minnesota this past weekend. They tried, and they ended up losing that one. They ended up losing that basketball game by 592-87. So, yeah, I think this is a good bounce-back spot. I do like the Aces on the money line tonight.
Yeah, again, I can't blame you. It's not a game that I'm super interested from a side perspective. You know, Angel and I did play that. 12.5 rebounds. Like, it has to be done. It's almost scary because she does it basically every damn game. So it's like, listen, it used to be 10.5 and then 11.5, and now they're settling with the 12.5s. But it's not, she still tops this. Like, she's averaging 12.1 on the season. So they got it at 12.5. So it's rare that you see a prop that's actually higher than a player's season average is on a nightly basis. But 14, 15, 14, 16, 10, 16, 13, 12. Like, she's been on a rebounding mission as of late, Kevin. She just racks them up, man. I was 12.5. No, listen, I don't blame you. I was really interested in her points because she is in a bit of a rut, I think, efficiency-wise. You know, it's not just that 1 for 12 game the other night. She followed it up with, a good 20 spot against Toronto, but since then, 8 points on 3 of 13, and then 15 points on 5 of 16 shooting. Is there a chance that tonight she can kind of find her level? I don't know if I want to bet her to do that against Las Vegas. The numbers, Gabe and I bet and watched a lot of this game when they played Las Vegas last time, Gabe. She did a lot of that in a blowout. She was playing well, but she wasn't playing well against Asia. Remember, she was in foul trouble. It was really throwing things off.
That's a good point. She got in foul trouble in that game, and it's a good point by Kevin. Oh, yeah, Asia Wilson averages 14 rebounds a game, just for the record. So, like, she's that good, right? Like, so she just dominates on the glass. An interesting play tonight, actually, is Jackie Young, who she's just a numbers machine, too, as well, Kevin. Like, I've kind of left it on the table, but she's gone over her combo, the points, rebounds, and assists. It was lower before. It was like 27.5s and 28s, and she went over like 10 games in a row. She's coming off. She didn't have a good game against Minnesota the other day. She put up a combined 18 points, rebounds, and assists. Seems like tonight's a bounce back, but the odds makers are onto it, bro. 30.5 tonight for her. That's a high number.
It's a big one. She's been impressive, though. I saw some just kind of the duos. There was a Caitlin Clark, Kelsey Mitchell graphic, Gabe, where they are trying to set a record for duos to score 20 plus in the same game. but also Wilson and Young have like done it the same amount of times this season as them. I don't know if a lot of people remember, like Jackie Young, beginning of the season, was in like a wild rut. She's really turned that around. We'll update you on the game after the quick break on.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
I have a stat that I think the people will enjoy. Perhaps you've seen it, you know, kicking around. But last year we did have a fantastic race between Aaron Judge and Cal Raleigh for league MVP. Gabe, did you know that Aaron Judge has more hits this season than Cal Raleigh? And Aaron Judge hasn't played baseball since May? I can't even, like, I like triple checked it. It's real. Cal Raleigh has 52 hits this year. Aaron Judge has 53. I mean, it is this fall off from Cal Raleigh's, like, I'm not even trying to be mean. This isn't like a Yankee fan trying to be vindicated. Judge won the MVP anyway. The Raleigh stuff is just, I can't believe it is real. I cannot believe how bad Cal Raleigh is.
In his last 11 games, he has 2 hits. So it's one of these deals. Like, we talk about Vladimir Guerrero a lot and his struggles.
Yeah.
At least Vlad's hitting 264, guys.
Mm-hmm.
That's 100 points higher than what Cal is doing at $158. So my point is with this is, Kevin, and like you'd say, like, all right, he struggled, but look, in the last week or so, he's actually, like, you know, you sort of like you look at Mookie Betts. Mookie Betts overall, you know, obviously isn't a player that he was. You know, the bat speed is starting to diminish a little bit, but he still has these 3-for-4s and 4-for-5 nights. You know what I'm saying? So, like, yeah, he'll struggle for 2-3 days, and he'll have a good game, and he'll have a couple of good games, and he'll struggle again. Cal Raleigh is just a constant struggle. Just a constant struggle.
Gabe, we'll tie it to Kyle Tucker,
runs.
right? Kyle Tucker is having the worst season of his life, and it's now impacting his fielding. He's got a 70 points better batting average, only 2 fewer home runs, 10 more RBI, significantly better OPS. And it's the work. And Kyle Tucker's a huge story right now. And again, he should be, right? He's as cold as he's ever been. All of a sudden, he can't field. Like, in his last week of baseball, Kyle Tucker's batting 0. 0.
That's unbelievable.
0. Like, it doesn't even make sense.
He's on his 0 for 25 run. He's 0 for 25 right now.
Stuff like that just doesn't happen.
Now, I bet
so what are you doing with the game
night.
tonight?
I showed faith in him last night. I stepped up. And it's like, all right, listen. And you know what's wild? It wasn't like we were getting some value or anything either. I was like, oh, yeah, you know what, over 1.5 bases, like plus 150 because he doesn't have a hit in 25 at-bats. No. Yeah. All right, so finally tonight they're starting to adjust a little bit. It's amazing to see his total base numbers here, Kevin. All the zeros next to it. 0, 0, 0. Like, to put in context, like, Andy Paw has total bases tonight is 1.5. All right? He had 4 total bases last night. He had 4 total bases the game before. The game before he had 0. The game before that he had 6. Right? Like, just 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, zeros for Tucker constantly. Plus 125 tonight. Listen, I haven't suffered with Kyle Tucker every day. It's not like this is a bet that I have chased daily with Kyle Tucker. I jumped in yesterday, and I bet the over 1.5 total bases for Kyle Tucker. What am I going to say? Is he going to hit a home run? It is Coors, so maybe that's the way to go here. As crazy as it sounds, Kevin, I'm going to buy in on Kyle Tucker again tonight. He has to get a hit eventually. Like, come on. What's his home run prop tonight?
Yes, eventually he has to get a hit. I'm not gonna. Yeah, I was thinking about it. I don't think my take is gonna be he's done getting hits. I don't think I want
525 for him to home run tonight. I got to take it. I'm taking Kyle Tucker over 1.5 total bases plus 125. It's like Texas and Ohio State, Kevin. I have no choice. I'm gonna take Tucker over, and I'm gonna get a little piece of Tucker home run here. It is Coors, and if he hits one, it could be that frustration where he just finally smokes a ball, like over the wall. You know what's amazing to me, though, guys, last night, and super frustrating? Like, you know, Kevin's been highlighting Tucker's struggles all year, and I've told him not to worry about it, and I didn't really care about it. The first time it upset me is I had a bunch of money on Scooble's first start, and he dropped the ball. That upset me. That was sort of that first, like, come on, dude. But at the same point in time, Kevin, if you remember in Scooble's debut, they lost like 2-1, 3-1 or whatever. Tucker hit a home run actually that night. So he was the only one that actually put any offense up. So I gave him, you know, a little bit of slack there. But last night, guys, just how bad things are going for him. We talked about the drop pop fly. They were winning 11-2, whatever. But, like, guys, the Dodgers put up 11 runs last night. You're in Coors. He didn't get a single hit. You know what I mean? Like, talk about not contributing. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, type of deal. You know what I mean? It's like, hey, everybody got some last night, but you went 0 for 5 and dropped a pop fly, right? Like I said, like, his confidence is shooken. He's rattled. He was nearly in tears in the dugout. I'm going in tonight. Give me Kyle Tucker over 5.5. I've never been a big Lauer guy. You know, I was like, all right, he is what he is, but he's pitched well for the Dodgers. And we're getting a reasonable number tonight, Kevin, at minus 130 on the run line. So I'm just going back. I'm not going to overthink things. Give me the Dodgers on the run line, minus 130.
I like the over 11.5. I'm a little surprised by this. We had an 11 yesterday and a Blake Snell start. Now it's Eric Lauer.
Oh, good call by you. Snell only got the 5 strikeouts.
Yeah, it was funny. He had 1 strikeout in inning. It worked out well. He got a little he pitched a little more than I thought he would, though. So it was a good thing. He was a little wild. He had a couple of walks. But I'm on the 11.5 here. I think Sagano's better than Feltner. I think a half run. I think there's a big pitching drop off game to game. And it doesn't hurt that not that they're going to try more, but the Dodgers are motivated to score as many runs as they possibly can in this series. Because the offensive struggles it's not just a Kyle Tucker thing, right? The Dodgers are not happy with their offensive performances.
No, they want to get it
scoring 11 was a good start.
Ease up. Yeah, they're not going to ease up. And baseball, listen, nobody ever eases up in baseball. It's an individual sport. Everybody's playing for money and contract and stats, etc. But Kevin is right. As a whole, the Dodgers are going to want to put up a bunch of runs, get everybody in a good mood, get that offense going. They'd like nothing more to see Kyle Tucker go 3 for 4 tonight if he can.
I think they're hungry here, Gabe. I think they're hungry.
And they should be, right? They have the third best record in the damn National League. So they should be.
Yeah.
But I think, too, like, that was the thing that was really frustrating me last night, Kevin, with Tucker, is like, you even got an extra at bat because we swung around the lineup so much. You got 5 cracks at this. You know what I mean? It's like, you need 6. Because I didn't get mad after the first one. I was like, all right. And then it was, everybody else started hitting, and I was like, all right, bro, you're 0 for 2. This is it. 3rd time up. Let's go. And then I was like, all right, bro, let's go. 4th time up. This is it. And then I was like, all right, dude, like, it's your 5th at bat, Kyle. You know, at that point, Kevin, it was like a 9-2 game. I was like, it's 9-2. There's 0
You know what I need?
Just smoke one into the gap, bro.
I need the Dodgers to be up 14-2. He's still done nothing. Position player. Going for Colorado. You know
that would just be patronizing. Condescending.
No, but I need
to came that way.
Gabe, I got to imagine he's swinging from the heels. If he sees, you know what I mean? If he's got Mickey Moniak throwing him pitches.
I think it's a good time. I think it's a good time to buy in now, though, on him. And I'm not saying, all in and he's going to turn around and start hitting 400. But I'm just stating from a betting perspective, the guy's on an 0 for 25 run right now. We're getting plus 125 for over 1.5 total bases. Right? All we're asking for is a double, triple, whatever. Get a double, couple of singles. But, and we're in Coors as well. So, it's almost that, if you've won 25 bets in a row, you're probably not going to win another 15 in a row after. You're getting ready to get cold. Like, the time is now, to buy in for him. As far as the tempo is concerned, their offense is doing what they do often in the second half. They kind of slowed down a little bit. They scored 20 points. We only got 44 points in the third quarter. We're still on pace right now.
Yeah.
195.5, but I'd still like to see some more points start to flow here.
Yeah, it doesn't at the moment look like we're going to hit the 200, but there's a lot of game left. There's a lot of game left here. We're going to continue to cover it on SportsGrid in-game live. We'll be right back.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
The dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Okay, guys, live on SportsGrid. Indiana pulling away a little bit here from Toronto. Marina Mabrey, we talked about this coming in. She's always matters to these totals. This game would be very different if Mabrey is having a big game. She's 5 of 18, and it's hurting Toronto. They're down 14. It's hurting our total. I'm not panicked, but I'm annoyed, right? This is the kind of total that looked like it was well on its way. And, we were going to sit here saying, I should have had some alts, whatever it might be. Live right now, Gabe, what are you getting? I want to use your number. What are you getting?
193.5.
Okay, so we're still where we need to be, but it could be better.
The thing is, the Fever are carrying the water for us right now. And just for the record, too, like the internet blows up when Angel Reese misses layups and stuff. Sophia Cunningham nearly just broke the backboard. Like, she was like 3 feet away. It was like the worst shot ever, type in basketball history. She was laughing after she did it even. It's been frustrating. Both teams, it's weird. WNBA, a lot of these girls, they're good three-point shooters and stuff. They miss a lot of putbacks. And another thing is, though, it's pretty physical, this league, too. So a lot of contact under the rim and stuff like that. So we left a lot of points on the court here, but I still think we can squeeze this out. The tempo have kind of hit a wall here. We talk about it. They're very frustrating tempo. They can be cruising along, and they've only scored 7 points so far here. But you and I talked about it yesterday. For us to get this over, we needed we knew we needed the Fever to cross 100.
Yep.
They've got 90 points now with 5:52 left. I mean, if they want to, they can get to 110, 115 here, Kevin. Like 110, 108. The tempo, as long as they don't quit, I think we could squeeze over that 189.5, 190.5. I'm going to lose the in-game that I bet, though, at 198 or 99, whatever.
Yeah, I think the thing is, though, these are two teams who can score in bunches, so I really wouldn't give up on any number just yet.
Point spread's 14.5 for the record, so 14.5 now. 90-76. They're down by 14.
I do wonder a little bit, the long-term future of Marina Mabrey for Toronto. Yeah,
she's popular, but she's super inconsistent. Let's call it out for what it is. She had a better first half of the season. Reality has kind of kicked in. And somehow she's kind of the face of the franchise.
She's not good enough to have a Luka Doncic level usage. That's not unfair to say.
No,
she's not efficient enough.
No, she shouldn't be the star of the team, though, right? That's another thing, too. So maybe, Kevin, as they grow, and let's say they get a Juju Watkins, right? And you see Kiki Rice is starting to step up. And, maybe if Mabrey just sort of stood in the corner and took threes, she'd be better off. Because let's be real. They are offensively challenged right now. So I guarantee you she takes a lot of bad shots, taking one for the team. Not that she doesn't like it, right? It got her in the All-Star game.
Yeah,
right? You know what I'm saying? But on a real team, she wouldn't get to, she could be in a better situation.
And I do think it's very interesting just, how this lands for her, right? And, she's evolved with the game, though. She's having a good season. I don't want to say she's not. It's just, the ugly games are ugly, right?
And there's a lot of them. They're 50% of them. She's very, consistently inconsistent.
When you shoot her shot difficulty, you could argue is the highest in the league. You could argue that.
It's a good point.
And it's going to lead to, stuff like this. And, tonight she's done more harm than good. But you aren't wrong. Someone has to shoot the shots, right? Russell Westbrook just retired. There were some times where gosh, Russ always has the ball. And then you're like, well, what do you want? Steven Adams to bring it up? Dabo Cephalosha on the offense?
And in fact, I think they want her. They've even told her to shoot more, Marina, right? But she's not a selfish player by definition. She will pass the ball. She'll mix it up a bit. Yet you could tell early with her, she either gets hot or she doesn't. They're still stuck at 7 right now. This is not good. We're at 194.5, though, right? We're at 194.5. They're going to the free throw line, and that's what we need to do here. They need to start taking it to the line. And I don't know about you. It's the one thing about the WNBA is the fouls in the fourth quarter. Teams are never in the bonus. It really pisses me off. I'm how many times you got to foul someone to get to the free throw line here? Right? They don't they reset the fouls in the fourth quarter, and they don't. Like it's not their style. Like they don't get all foul happy late. Oh, let's get in the bonus and stretch the game. They'll kind of play fast right until the final whistle, like both teams.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like even a team with the 10-point lead, and it's not like the NBA. Like it's the one cool thing, sort of. You know what I mean, Kevin? Like in an NBA game, guys, you often see the team that's winning. Like now in an NBA game, 90-78, they'll start walking the ball up the court and stuff. Right? You know, NBA guys start slowing it down. We're up by 12. Let's just bleed the clock, slow it down. We can't lose.
Yeah.
Like Indiana, they're not shooting as quickly, but Caitlin just took a 3. You know what I mean? Like they're still, now they're kind of stuck on 90. We're at 193 and up. We need some effing points here. Let's go.
Yeah, that's what we need. That's what we need. We need some of these points to start to.
We need Toronto to score.
Yeah,
because if Toronto scores a bit, that can, like, let's say if Toronto could just go on a little 6-0 run here, it would make
it's a good point. Like, get some fouls going late, maybe.
Here's Kean Nurse for 3. Brutally bad shot.
Oh boy.
191.5. Oh god.
All right. Let's take our minds off this. Let's bounce around to the Dodgers, who have scored in the first inning here against the Rockies. I know. Max Muncy.
Oh, they're on the board,
sacrifice fly. Yep. That'll be all though. That could have been a little bit better.
Up on me. I hate these 40s. See, I already got my Dodger bet in, parlayed with the Blue Jays, but I didn't get to Kyle Tucker. Fortunately, he bats like so deep in the lineup, I might be able to get this in still.
Yeah, you're good. The half inning ended. You got plenty of time.
So Kyle Tucker over 1.5 total bases. They actually pull the total bases sometimes. I might have to just play a home run. Red Sox still up 5-4.
Yeah.
Nah, we left the total on the table, Kevin. In Seattle, Milwaukee, both you and me, it's 4.5 now, 1-0 still.
Yeah. Listen, it was one of those, we agreed, books agreed, under still and under, and that's obviously where that thing looks like it's headed. We're headed to a break. We're going to come on back. We're going to get you guys all of our picks and try and root this in. Indiana, Toronto, WNBA at home.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
The dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
Second Game Live. Quick update here. I do appreciate always when the people reach out at Sports Rage, at the Kevin Walsh. PCA hit a home run to start off yesterday's game against the White Sox. He did it again today against the White Sox. And, one of our loyals from Chicago said, why are we not talking about PCA? MVP? Well, they said what PCA is doing has never been done before. I must admit, I don't know what that's in reference to. I don't know exactly what PCA is doing. That 30 for 30 club been done before. Being the best, arguably, fielder in baseball. Like, that's, Torrey Hunter. Like, those things happen. Beating Ohtani out for an MVP. He would join Aaron Judge as basically the only other guy to do that. That's an accomplishment. PCA's been awesome this year, Gabe. I do kind of think he's going to beat Ohtani out for the league MVP. It's not Shohei's year. It's none of those favorites here. We talked about how last year the big four all were favorites and all won. Skeen, Skubal, Judge, Ohtani. I don't think any of the four of them are actually going to pull it off this year.
I think Ohtani still has an opportunity to put up big numbers before this is said and done, right? To end up with 38, 40 home runs still. What, he's at 28 now, I believe? He had 28 last night. 20,
last night got him to 29.
29, he had 2, right? So 29. So I would still think Ohtani will win this thing, but Peter Crow Armstrong is having a great year. The only thing is, there could be Ohtani fatigue a little bit with the media, right? It's like, even, it's a popularity contest although baseball kind of gets it right more so than the NBA. The NBA really is just some sort of weird, well, we screwed you before, so we're going to give it to you this time, right? In the NBA, NFL is pretty clear cut. Whoever the best quarterback is wins, puts up the numbers, wins. So baseball is more intricate, at least, Kevin. I'll give him credit for that. And I think the baseball media take it serious as well. I think they do take it serious. I think you're right. The fact that Ohtani hasn't pitched, in a while is a negative for him right there. But I wouldn't write Ohtani off yet. What are the odds? Is it a stone cold pick 'em? It's been like pretty much a pick 'em.
It flipped to PCA minus 165 with this last little barrage here. The walk-off home run last night, 2 home run game. So he has something.
Let's say Ohtani hits another couple of home runs in Coors, though, right, this week. You know what I mean? It comes down back.
Yeah, it would help. It would help. It also, though, we're going to get to a whole big thing here. PCA being arguably the best defender in baseball gives him a puncher's chance because Ohtani doesn't play defense. You don't have to tell me he wants to. I'm just saying he doesn't. So it does help combat.
He'd be good at it.
It helps combat all that a little bit. Quickly, though, Gabe, your last show of the week.
92.83 right now.
I know you've been tweeting about it, but anything you want to just kind of let people know kind of what you got going on here?
That's right. Thank you. We're going to be gone for the rest of the week, unfortunately. I'm going to check in as a guest as much as we can. Just a quick segment, give some picks or whatnot. Cam's going to be with us Friday, amongst others. So that'd be fun for a quick hit on Friday night, live from Toronto. But it's our 25th anniversary of Sports Rage. And we used to do a lot of live events with like the listeners and the viewers and the fans and stuff like that. I haven't done it as much. We save them for the anniversaries now. So we're going to go back to where it all started in Montreal. So we'll be there tomorrow night. We're going to be there like 7:30, 8 o'clock and hanging around and stuff. But we're going to go live on X at 9 o'clock tomorrow night from Montreal. Thursday night, I'm going to the Montreal Alouette Ottawa Red Black CFL football game. Haven't been to an Alouette game in Montreal in like 20-plus years. Used to be a season ticket holder, so I'm looking forward to that return. And then Friday night, we got a big show, Toronto, bunch of super cool guests coming down, handicappers, players, Cam, like former whatever, score people, like old network TV people I work with. Like, it's going to be a big party Friday night in Toronto. And then Saturday, we're going to go see the Hamilton Tiger Hats and the Toronto Argonauts. So I got 4 days of action in a row here. And then we'll be back next Monday here. And then college football kicks off next weekend. Next week we've got USC, San Jose State, UNLV, Memphis. We've got some real games, and of course we've got the FCS games on Thursday night.
And we will be ready for all that, so it'll be fun. Make sure you guys are checking in with everything again that Gabe's got going on.
Yeah, come on down if you're in Montreal and/or Toronto or in the area.
Or make the trip, man. Really, make the trip. You guys are looking for a little summer vacation. Figure it out. Go do a little CFL tour.
You know what the next one is? Friday, October 16th. Las Vegas, Nevada, baby. That's going to be a big
one.
Friday, October 16th. Raiders, Bills that weekend, too.
Awesome. Gabe, wish you the best of luck. Enjoy it. Congrats on the 25.
Thanks, guys.
Let's get this over. Let's get this over, people. See you tomorrow.
Class is in session. Today, let's talk about the teaser. A teaser is a multi-leg bet where you shift the point spread in your favor. You get better numbers, but every selection has to win. It doesn't matter what you bet if you don't have the insights. Tune into SportsGrid and get ahead of the class.
It's kind of cut and dry that the Dodgers are going to win it, which is not a guarantee. This is not taxes and death, so to speak. The Dodgers can lose games. We've seen it. They had a long losing streak. So the Dodgers could maybe fall off. You never know. Now, I do expect them to make the playoffs, and I expect them to win the division, and I expect them to win the NLDS. But then anything after that, I think is suspect.
Pro Baseball Today, only on SportsGrid.
Miami going to the Big Ten is massive. It gives the university, in my opinion, it's a strong university. It's AAU. It's got championship pedigree. And I think it would have a massive recruiting advantage, to be candid, if it were to join the Big Ten. And I think that's making some of the bigger players in that conference a little nervous.
Outspoken with Dan Cilio, only on SportsGrid.
You know, the dark days are ahead for the Warriors. And when Curry and Kerr and Draymond all leave, what are we going to be looking at that franchise that has been a mainstay of the NBA, you know, the face of the NBA and NBA playoffs for so long? Where are they going to be? So I see no issue with them bringing Draymond back. Why not? You have one last go at things with the trio that they still have there. But I see this as a very long season.
Game time decisions, only on SportsGrid.
The show is about to begin.
Dude, that Smiley Kaufman for 61. Wow.
Featuring Smiley Kaufman.
If you're on a local IHOP at a PGA Tour event, you might see Hideki Matsuyama.
Clear up in the stance, strengthen the grip.
His co-host, Charlie Hume.
We've now picked 5 of the last 8 winners on the PGA Tour. Oh, it's going hole. Please go in the hole. Please go in the hole. Please go in the hole. Yes, sir!
And the biggest names in golf.
That's a great question. Can I talk about it?
I don't think I'm ready.
How good does it get, SK? Why not ask Charlie?
Today, live from the Pinecrest Inn, it's The Smiley Show. So long, everybody. This is The Smiley Show.
We are back here on The Smiley Show with plenty to cover today. It is a Monday morning. Smiley's just arrived back home from Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, where he was broadcasting the US Am at Marion. And as such, we had to talk course architecture.